Hello there guys, it's Matsimus. I apologise in advance for the audio being quite awful. It's very windy here today, but we are in the Lethbridge Air Show today. As you can see behind me, there is the CF-18 and the snowbirds to the left of it firing up their engines about to take off. There is also the beautiful A-10 that you'll see just behind me there. So we're going to take a look around the air show today, see what we can see. I hope you enjoyed today's video. As always guys, please leave me a like, let me know what you think of this video in the comments section, and all the best, enjoy! So guys, this is an air show that's hosted every 2 years in the city of Lethbridge in Alberta, and it has quite the host of aircraft, mostly transport aircraft like the beautiful Canadian C-17 we're seeing right here, and these aircraft are just incredible and to me defy physics. I mean, the size of these things is unreal, and I've actually flew inside a C-17 before along with the Hercules. When you see the C-5 Galaxy, it's a whole new ball game. These aircraft are massive. Until you actually see one close up in real life, you can't appreciate how big these things are and how much engineering that goes into them. I'm in the aviation industry and I know quite a bit about aircraft engines, and looking at these things, just standing beside them, it just baffles me how these things are produced and the time and effort it must take to produce these engines. The Americans were clearly having some fun with this particular engine with the Beware of Beast instead of Beware of Blast, which I thought was absolutely hilarious. But just the amount of thrust that is required from these engines to actually get this beast off the ground is unreal. And just stepping through, you know, the cargo bays of these things, they can actually hold Abrams main battle tanks, which I'm sure many of you already know. And just the storage space for these things is unreal. I remember C-17s dropping off supplies in Afghanistan to us, but I never remember seeing these things, and I just really am fascinated by them. They seem to be put on the sideline a little bit in the world of aviation in my eyes, and you know, fighter jets are cool and stuff, but when you see these things and how much they can lift and carry, it's just incredible. This aircraft actually has 2 crews, so it can go on long distance haul flights, be refueled mid-air and just change crews and off they go. This aircraft was quite sentimental to me because it is part of the company I work for and produce aviation systems for, so this was kind of cool actually being able to see the aircraft up close and operating for the Canadian Air Force. So that was really neat to see, and you know, brought a little tear to my eye, you know, part of this project. But really fascinating talking to the pilots too, and how, you know, pleased they are with the aircraft and how well it performs, along with some agricultural aircraft that do the same thing and use the same kind of avionics that I work with in my career. Really cool to see that both America and Canada work side by side in producing these very impressive engines, avionics systems and such. Sadly though, the day turned on day one into an absolute gong show with the weather. Unfortunately, there was a huge amount of rain that started coming in and lightning. Normally the lightning strikes, if they're seen from 5 miles away, the air show's to be cancelled, but they left it up until 1 mile, so they gave it the benefit of the doubt. They tried real hard to keep the air show going, but unfortunately it just didn't work out, and you're going to see right away here why it didn't work out for me that day. This is what happens when you come to an air show where it's a lightning strike. Everybody uses a C-17 as a rain cover, and I'm stood here with pizza and Coke in the middle of a lightning storm on an airfield on a runway. Totally safe, totally legit, so I'm going to join them at the C-17 and hopefully not get hit by lightning. I think it was safe to say at that point that that day was a write-off, so I decided to come back the next couple of days and try and catch up for what was unfortunately cancelled on the first day. And I'm glad I did, because the weather turned out to be really nice, although a little bit more hot than the first day, but that's fine. I wasn't able to bring the family out for too long because it was way too hot, but I was able to just go around and look around some of the more incredible aircraft that I'd never actually seen up close and personal before. Many aircraft on the flight line, including two beautiful CF-18s that as you see right here, including the American C-17 along with another American C-17 in the background there with the C-5 at the back. The CF-18s were definitely looking like they'd had their day, and you know my opinion on the beautiful aircraft. It served us very, very well, but it's time for it to retire, and it is time for this government to provide us with a fighter jet that is superior to this aircraft in every single way. I love the CF-18, and it's a fantastic fighter jet, but it's just time, and seeing them up close, it really did just remind me of the fact that we really do need to replace these beautiful beasts. Talking of beasts, as I said before, the American C-17s were on the flight line also. Guy cleaning the windscreen there, which I thought was hilarious, waving to everyone as he did. The US Air Force brought two of them, as I mentioned, from Strategic Command. They looked incredible, big old beast. And again, the flight capacity of these things is just incredible. The amount of power that must be produced to get these things off the ground. I've actually flown in one of these aircraft before. Fantastic bit of kit. Took me to Afghanistan, and the sound that they make when you actually take off is just puts hairs on the back of your neck. And something that put the hairs on the back of my neck was seeing the Canadian C-17 actually doing a flyby. Just incredible. So the landing you're about to see here is actually what they call their combat landing. So it's basically they're going to try and slow the aircraft down as quickly as possible in the shortest amount of runway as possible by using their reverse thrusters. And my goodness, does it know how to stop on a dime. Considering the size of this aircraft, it slows down extremely quickly, which just shocked me. I just didn't think it would take that short of a time for it to actually slow down and stop. Once she had landed, for some reason, two sports cars decided to go tearing down the middle of the runway. Yes, they had permission, but it was kind of cringy. You know, it's those exotic car companies who want to make $1 million out of sending people down a runway at 150 miles an hour. So then we had the privilege of seeing the beautiful Canadian C-17 rolling right towards the crowd with the Canadian flag flying out the top. Honestly, this was a really proud moment for me, seeing that beautiful flag peering out the top of this aircraft and knowing that it is serving our nation and proud to serve our nation. Talking to some of the aircrew of this aircraft, they are extremely happy with the performance, the capability, and just being a part of the C-17 program in general. Very proud crew, very confident crew of the aircraft, and you can see why. I mean, when you crawl around this thing and look at it and how well it's produced and built, it really does go to show how well the C-17s have actually done in their service career. I don't know the full technical history of these aircraft. I'm probably going to do some research after I make this video, but I was having a blast watching it roll up towards us, and the rest of the crowd was too, and it was just a beast. Seeing it come up this close with those engines roaring, just incredible. And I hope you guys appreciate the fact that, you know, at the end of the day, the men and women that serve on these aircraft work extremely hard to maintain them and keep them going. And I myself, coming from a mechanical background in the military, making sure that things work, I can't even imagine trying to be the crew of an aircraft of this size and the amount of effort and time it must take to make sure these things fly. And really though, it was just an incredible sight to see. From there then, I moved on to see the beautiful V-22 Osprey of the United States Marine Corps. And again, seeing an aircraft like this up close really does go to show its technical capabilities and how much engineering has gone into these aircraft. The V-22, as you already are well aware, is basically an aircraft that can take off in vertical takeoff and landing and short takeoff and landing, and is capable of then switching the blades to go forward to go extremely fast to be able to deliver troops to the ground. Obviously, Marines to the ground ground or special forces capabilities. Speaking to the Marines themselves that actually fly and operate this aircraft, they really love it, although sometimes it does feel a little nerve-wracking with turbulence and such. I'm not too sure what they're really specifically mentioning, but they have had to change their underwear a few times. That's what they quoted, and it was interesting to see the Marines actually parked up on the side of the aircraft just chilling with a lemonade for the day. Kind of goes to show that when they have their time off, they're going to try and utilize it as best they can. You know, being at an air show, I'd love to just take some time out of my day and chill out with a coffee or a lemonade, but good for them. I hope they had a good time coming to visit the Lethbridge Air Show. Going inside this thing, honestly, I was surprised at how much space it had, considering it's able to take pretty much an entire squad of Marines, including potential casualties. It was really impressive to see this capabilities of storage and logistics in this thing. They do have the ability of putting 2 rear guns on it, including a ball turret, which is kind of interesting to me. I never really knew that. The Coors Light Beers hat there in the corner, which was really cool to see. Marines love to have parties. From there then, I moved on to me, the personally most favourite aircraft at the entire air show, the A-10 Warthog. And what a gorgeous aircraft this is when you actually get around up close to it. This aircraft again is extremely close to me because it provided support to me in Afghanistan whilst I was with the warrior companies on the front line. I'm not going to drone on and on about how much I love the A-10, as most of you are probably well aware of how much I love it, and I'm sure many of you love it yourselves. It is an aircraft that is tried, true, and tested, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of discussion in the comment section about how the A-10 is going to be replaced and how it should be replaced or it shouldn't be replaced. Honestly, when you get up close to it and having it serve alongside me in Afghanistan, I want it to stay. Looking at this gorgeous 30mm cannon just reminds me of having that air-to-ground firepower when needed is necessary for the current climate we're in. That's a different topic, but seeing it up close, that big old cannon there, it's just incredible seeing that kind of firepower being able to be utilized. Strangely enough, I was very surprised to see the Predator drone at the air show, and they had a number of people around it to keep it nice and secure. And when the rain came, that thing, I've never seen a vehicle or an aircraft move in so fast to a hangar in my life. They just wheeled it like so quickly to get it inside. I'm sure if a lightning strike that thing, it wouldn't be a great thing to have happening to their showcasing drone, but it was really cool to see and look around, and there wasn't really much equipment on it. It had been stripped down to its bare bones for the most part, but talking to some of the crew and the pilots of it, they love their job, and you never know, drones may be the future of the United States Air Force, who knows. There was also a C-130 Hercules there, which was kind of upsetting for me to see due to the fact that there was that C-130 that recently crashed with 16 killed. There was also the B-25 bomber, which was incredible to see. Just this silver goddess in the middle of the airfield there, Second World War tribute to this incredible aircraft. And again, looking at some of these engines and the armament on this damn thing. I mean, it had guns sticking out every orifice you could imagine. Very cool, made in the shade motif there on the side of the aircraft. And like I said, every bit of this aircraft had a gun coming off it, and I really wouldn't want to be at the receiving end of it. I would have really actually liked to have flown on this aircraft because they were doing tour rides on this plane and being able to pay, I think it was $250 fee or something like that. You could jump inside of it and go for a flight. Clearly, I just don't have the money to spend on $250 worth of tourist rides on an aircraft, although it would have been absolutely epic. And to be honest, I turned down back a few years ago flying on a B-17, and that's my favorite bomber of the Second World War. So I'm not going to try and get on this aircraft when I didn't get on the B-17, but still a very impressive aircraft to see on the flight line. There was many other aircraft that were really interesting to see at the air show. Some naval aircraft which were used for early warning and all that good stuff. I didn't actually go on board any of these aircraft because they don't really interest me so much with the naval side, but they were really cool to see. Comparing this aircraft to the CC-177, it was just incredible seeing the wheels on the damn thing. You get so close to them. The Globemaster III was an impressive sight to see, and being inside it you could actually see the hookup line for the parachute troops, along with the door which they exit from and the red, orange and green light, which I really wanted to jump out of. But there was also the Snowbirds, which are Canada's version of the Thunderbirds, or multiple air forces around the world's flight demonstration team, and this is what I think of my subscribers / viewers. There you go. Massive respect and love for you all there. But really cool to see. Fun little flight flying them things around all day, but they again are extremely old. This fireman is a true patriot to Canada, a hockey stick with a Canadian flag on it with the Canadian snowbirds flying past, and they were really getting into it. It was fun to see, and I don't think many people actually saw this guy in the corner of the airfield doing this, but these guys were just riled up, and it was just epic seeing how much they were into it. Even the pilots were just loving seeing these guys in the corner firing up the flag with the hockey stick on it. It was just great to see. The gorgeous A-10 also did its beautiful little flyover. Unfortunately, though, it couldn't do the old pyrotechnics with the blasting of the gun and things because it was way too windy that day, and they thought the entire airfield was going to catch fire. So if it wasn't for a rainstorm, it was bloody fires they were worried about. But it was really cool seeing the aircraft anyway. I've seen this aircraft flying many, many times before, but it was nice to see that the public really enjoyed seeing this aircraft on display because they're not cheap to fly. And finally, we had the beautiful CF-18 painted in Canada's 150th birthday colours, red, white. It just looked incredible. And actually, it's been designed by the same person many, many years whenever we do a paint scheme. And this one's obviously very, very, very important to Canada, being it's our 150th birthday of this year. And it was just beautiful watching this aircraft fly. I must admit, I do love the CF-18. Does it need replacing? Yes, but still, the ability of it still flying really does bring a little tear to my eye. But what else brings a little tear to my eye is knowing that one of these aircraft actually crashed at the Lethbridge Air Show in the past. So, kind of unnerving that seeing that this aircraft's still flying today in the same area probably brings back a couple of terrifying memories for some of the staff who saw it actually happen on the day. But overall, the show was fantastic, watching her come in as fast as she could at 100% power, afterburners going, and just tearing through the crowd. And that was it, guys. That was the lineup for the day. There was other aircraft that I could have pretty much gone over, but I thought these were the most important ones. The rest were kind of low-tier prop planes, nothing really particularly exciting. This is one of the aircraft I really wanted to come see along with the A-10. So overall, for the day, I was extremely impressed with the lineup and had a great time. Well guys, that's it for today's air show. Thank you so much for joining me today. The old beautiful 150th birthday CF-18 is returning in the background there, as you can see, pulling in. And that's me for the day. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please leave me a comment and a like. And if you do wish to support my channel, go check out my Patreon. All the best, have a great day, and bye-bye from Canada. That's never a good start when you get to an air show. Fires!